Hello everybody and welcome back for another video. So today I'm just going to put out a quick video about a question that I've been thinking about, and it's, do you need chess books to learn chess? So I know Hikaru Nakamura has been asked this, and he's actually said that he hasn't really read any books except for a few when he was very young. And I saw a thing about Puzzle Rush on the Chess Broad channel where Eric Hansen said he never studied tactics from books or really read any books. And I thought that was very interesting. Now, of course, these players had kind of exceptional chess upbringings in terms of starting very young and having lots of support and playing a lot when they're younger. So when you're younger, you kind of learn chess like a language, and it's a bit different. So you can do that. But I also think that there's a method that I used to learn chess that was similar, because I didn't really read any books that I would say, of course I read some books for just interesting ideas and stuff, but I wouldn't really say I became a good player or at least got to where I am by any books. But let's see here. So this is my rating history. I don't know if I've ever shown this on the channel. So I've played 33 events total. Not really a lot. Some players, they say you need 1,000 games to get to National Masters, so I guess I would have a ways to go. I've played about maybe 120. So, and I went in spurts. So let's see here. So I started in 2004 in October, and I played about 2 months before this and got really serious, kind of obsessed. And what I did at that time was I had signed up for the Internet Chess Club, and I printed out those games and I went over them with Fritz. But first I went over them myself on a real board and just tried to think about where I went wrong. Now, of course, a lot of that analysis was very crappy, but that process is what made me better. And you could see 5 months later, I was around 14 to 1500 playing already. And probably, I was young, but I wasn't that young. I was about 14 years old or so. Now, I could have probably progressed very quickly if I would have just kept going, but I've always kind of treated chess as just a fun thing, and when something comes up like, school or working to make money, then that's always taken precedence over chess. But throughout the years, you could see I took kind of a break 2006, and then I came back for one tournament, 2008, and then this was around college, working in my career. 2012, I worked a little bit, and then another about 3-year break before I really kind of got serious and wanted to just reach 2,000. And I did that, it looks like I got to 1,800 earlier, and then 2,000, I did that in about a year from that leap. I didn't even hit 1,900. I'll show the graph here. We'll go into some of these stats. So I've basically thought about understanding plus analysis is the basis of chess skill, is what I've been thinking about. Okay, let's go back here. All right, so show game statistics. We'll look at that first. So you can see I've played 128 games exactly, 66 wins, 37 losses. And I've never beaten a National Master, even though this draw was a one game. That was the one where I got a knight and a bishop ending, and I couldn't mate them. I played some 2100s, and I've beaten more 2000s than I've lost. So I'm doing pretty good there, but I really just need to play stronger players, and that's how you get better, not necessarily reading more books and learning more information. But I really think the rating graph history is quite interesting. So when I have followed this path of playing games and just trying to really hard find the problems, I've shot up, and each time I did that, you could see that there's a pretty big leap. Now, most of these periods is me not playing at all, but I'd say around, each time before, I'm starting to study and play online my own games, but not really studying any books. So I'll show you how I do that nowadays, and I even did that back then with, I'd say, Fritz. You'd have to download all these programs like to get on the Internet Chess server, and Fix, the free Internet Chess server too. But now you can just go online, and it's so easy. So let's say I go for my losses here. Let me see if I can find an interesting one. Okay, so this one's pretty interesting. I'm black. You can see I ended up with this kind of ridiculous position, but I know that I was 1 at some point in this game, and you could see that. So what I do is I go to analysis board and I do request to computer analysis. So very easy nowadays. And I'm going to start as black. So let's see how I'd analyze this and figure out where I went wrong. All right, so I don't really know this opening, but it's pretty basic. White's just playing pretty passively, allowing me to get the center pawns. I just develop my knights and then castle. And so this position, probably just push forward, which is what I did. Queen, bishop, and now I've completed all the main opening tasks, so no problem there. So this is what you want to do, is you want to see if you made a mistake in the opening first. So no mistakes, and actually I have a slight advantage. Really nothing concrete though. Alright, so I'm going for the plan to play b5 and open that a file, chase that knight back. So strategically and tactically that works because I chased White's pretty much only active piece that was threatening anything on my side of the board. And now I just maintain the tension. I bring the knight back to play c5, so not a bad idea. You can see what the computer suggested. And this is really where you learn, is just to see what the computer suggested if you missed any ideas or tactics. So you can see that I'm not really studying any books or any information. Now, you will learn stuff from books. I'm not saying you won't. I'm just saying that chess is about understanding and analysis. And in order to improve your understanding, you need to analyze. And in order to improve your analysis, you need to improve your understanding. So it's a two-way street. You really need to kind of work on both here. So, all right, so I play c5. Let's just keep going here. Trade. Bring the knight back. Maybe that wasn't the best move. Well, actually, it looks like that was. So knight to d7. Just preparing to play, I guess, f6 was the idea. If he plays something like this, then I could just play f6 to meet that, and I'd be okay. He plays there, and now here's a tactical moment. So obviously the queen's threatening the rook. You don't want to just take here or play f6. If I would have played something like that, you really need to look at these positions. Now, I would say maybe in the past, I would have really thought about making a mistake tactically and then thought, oh, I need to solve 100 positions. But, you know, I've kind of edited my thoughts on that. I really think you just need to figure out where in your mind that error came from. And it's not necessarily just not recognizing a pattern. All right, so I take, maybe that wasn't the best move. I probably could have played something like rook to a6, although the computer is suggesting rook takes a1. Given that the queen's probably controlling these light squares here. So takes, and then I play f6. It looks like that suddenly gives white an evaluation. So what you want to do is you want to look at where the evaluation changes. So the computer's recommending h6. Let's see. It appears probably, I would say, probably because you want to bring this knight in, and then if you bring it to b6, then the rook can cause some problems. So I'd say maybe that's the issue. Now with computer evaluations, you really need to kind of figure out the understanding for your own benefit, I guess, because that's really where a lot of players go wrong. They just say, oh, I should have played this move. Well, you have to think about it in terms of your thought process. How would you naturally result in that move if you thought about it? And so you can see it's kind of a slow, tedious process for analysis. You're not really learning anything in huge chunks, but it's just these little errors and these little adjustments that you make in your own thinking. It's kind of a long process to get to the point where you're not making any errors naturally. And this is a blitz game, so all right. So white makes a blunder, and I play the correct move. Now I thought this was kind of a funny position actually. So the queen is totally trapped, but there's really no way that black can win it in any way. But he can also, if he plays correctly, just rampage through white's position of the queen versus the bishop. I ended up losing this game, so let's see what happens. So pawn trades. And now, obviously, white plans to play something like here. Now, I could have just took, right? This is a critical position that I made a mistake in. I could have just took the pawn, and white really has no good response. If he takes, the queen comes in like this. And now it's totally winning. I'll just take all the white pawns, queen another pawn, and the white queen can really do nothing. But instead, I played queen to a3, right? I just planned to pin the bishop, take this pawn, and then queen. So I came up with the wrong plan based on a misunderstanding of the position. Should have just went for simple chess and took the material, right? So this is a very quick decision I made in a blitz game, but it's important to see where you went wrong. And when you see where you went wrong, then you really start to adjust your thinking, at least subconsciously, when you're doing it. All right, so I'm not going to say that books won't make you better, but you get a lot more bang for your buck, at least in terms of well, and also another plan I'm just seeing this here, would have been to play like something like this, and then if he takes, you can eventually just queen. So you'll see a lot of plans, and also don't just rely on the computer evaluation. If the computer says something is correct, then of course you want to look at that, but also think in terms of practical human chess, I'd say, because sometimes a position that the computer can play is very hard for humans, even though it's objectively won. So keep that in mind too. All right, so just putting these ideas out there, kind of been on my mind in terms of the debate between, you know, pulling out a chess board, reading a book. It's kind of slow, you know, and I think you can actually learn a lot quicker using these tools. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.